Well, hello there, and welcome back to the Cozy Club, my friends. Season 2 of the Summoner's Showdown starts today as of this morning, guys, and I could not be more excited. I know a lot of you guys are kind of confused with the Showdown. We've only had one season. It's a very new game mode, but I want to talk to you guys about why you should be excited for Season 2. And on top of that, today I'm going to be giving you guys my top 7 tips that aren't the usual kind of casual tips with Showdown on how you can best succeed in this game mode. Because after all, guys, it's more free-to-play friendly than before, as every single requirement now is going to be 3 stars and gear tier 3 for every single Showdown. And the character selection roster is much more, how do I say it, juicy? Maybe that's a good term for it, for lack of a better word. Season 1 had some interesting, unique characters, but Season 2 has a lot better characters that most of you guys have a little bit more of outside of the brand new ones. So today, guys, I'm going to be giving you tips from myself and also from some of the best Summoner Showdown players within the game. And so excited to break all those down. And for this video, it's not going to be your typical advice, like make sure you have Sorcerer Stones on your characters. But seriously, make sure you have Sorcerer Stones on your characters. Today, we're going to be going over different things that I think are going to really make or break the Showdown, and some common mistakes that I see people making over and over, along with some other advice from others. So let's go ahead, let's jump right into it, and go ahead and feel free to jump into the stream, ask some questions about your rosters, and maybe we can get you a little bit more wins. Because after all, this game mode offers some great rewards, and I want to help more and more people achieve those rewards to help them in their overall experience in the game. Let's go ahead and start today's video. Alrighty, Cozy Club. Well, we've got 7 tips for you guys today that's going to make a big difference in the way that you play this game mode. And trust me, I know people that are very free-to-play friendly that are able to excel in this game mode a ton. And then also a big shout out to last season's #1 player, Crixus, who helped with me, and we kind of talked about some of these tips today. And so you're hearing from some of the best here and what tips that we recommend you to run in the Showdown. Let's go ahead and start with tip number 1. The first tip that we have on today's Summoner Showdown tips video is going to be one that I see a lot, as well as other people seeing a lot, and that is, don't be obsessed with synergy. Now, you guys know I'm a huge proponent of synergy, and I love theory crafting and coming up with some different teams that have kind of unusual synergies together. However, within the Summoner Showdown, you don't want to focus on synergy so much that you're putting some other teams at a really dumpster level of play. Now, you don't want 1 or even 2 good teams, and yeah, they're probably going to be solid and get you a lot of wins. However, then you're left with the rest of your teams that's just complete dumpster fire. Now, with all that being said, make sure you have some synergy. You don't want to completely leave it alone, but putting them in pairs and not just getting a full team of synergy is probably going to be the best way to go to ensure that you've got multiple teams that can carry the load. Divide the best and conquer. Alrighty, tip number 2 is going to be focus down first the biggest damage dealer on the enemy team. Now, again, last season is a lot different than this season, as there's a lot more damage dealers. But as overall advice for now and future seasons, you always want to pinpoint and locate the biggest threat on the enemy team, as once you remove that damage dealer and you make it a 4v5 or a 5v4 in your case, you're going to completely outnumber them, and they're not going to have the damage to swing it back in their direction. It's like getting ahead 14 points in a football game and getting rid of their best player, going to put them at a big disadvantage. So focus down and control those tanks like I always talk about. But from that point on, early season 1, you take out Moana, you have a good chance to win. Now, for this particular season, I did make videos that broke down all of the characters, kind of identifying the big damage dealers. But if I go over to the character list here, guys, we've got them all like ready to go. And really, guys, there's some big time damage dealers, and you've got to know your characters. We'll talk about that on another tip. But you guys can see the big threats: Glitch, Milan, Robin Hood, big time threats. Big Bad Wolf, you got to get him down, or he's going to take down your entire team. Now, you do have different threats like Ana that's going to be tempting to take out because she's going to be very important. However, if Ana's with like a big time damage dealer, you probably want to take them out first, because once you kill the damage dealer, she's not going to have a lot of people to support from there. And you really want to utilize those first turns to eliminate the damage dealer, and by then they can get their taunts out and all that stuff, but it doesn't matter. You took out who you want to, and by far the best part is once they're dead, they're dead. No golden hammers in Summoner Showdown. For tip number 3, we're going to talk about knowing your team's identity. And I know this sounds funny, but I see so many people just slap some characters together and they're like, well, I hope this works because I have a damage dealer in there. Guys, you want to know what you're doing, and sometimes you can get by with not a lot of damage and still get the job done. The single best part about this game mode is there's so much theory crafting available and so many different teams you can make. Do you have a team that relies on harmful effects and shutting down and controlling the field, like with Dr. Facilier, or do you have a control team that's made up with really no damage dealers, but it's the best you got, and so you slap this team together, but your job is to control the enemy and really just stall the game out. And stalling the game out means clock tower and boom and having spells that go well with it. Maybe you have the typical damage dealer, but you don't have the tanks to protect it. We're going to talk about that on a later tip, but make sure you know exactly the strategy with your team and go and take them into defense and go against AI. Test them out and try to learn how they function, how you can get the best quality team out of the, units you kind of slap together. Because after all, with this game mode, there's a lot of characters you guys have probably not used a ton. And so try to get familiar with the characters and how you can kind of synergize what they do have, even if there's no direct, obvious synergy there. You don't have time to go and practice with your teams, but if you want to get the best bang for your buck and seriously get some good rewards without spending a whole lot, you were able to get a lot of stamina potions this time around, and you definitely have a good shot as long as you know what kind of characters you're working with and understand the team you're using. All right, guys, we've got tip number 4, and this is going to be a little tough, right? Every season is different, but this season is going to be about controlling those damage dealers, and then every single season has got to do with speed. Now, obviously, we've talked about it for over a year and a half now. Say it with me. Speed is king within DSA, and learning the speed of other characters is absolutely vital. Now, in Season 1, I made this graph that showed off all the different speeds of each and every character, and in Season 2, here is a graph to learn the speeds of all of the characters. I just can't possibly stress enough just how important it is to learn the different speeds of these characters. Bring this graphic in. It's going to help you a ton. Learn all of the speeds and learn who is going when. I've got both tier 8 and tier 8.5 in there. You're only going to see tier 8.5 if you go up against someone that looks like a whale. I don't know how you can tell if someone's a whale. Like maybe they're talisman. Maybe if they've got like a rare one like Peter Pan's. I don't know. But if you see that, they might have T8.5. Other than that, look for tier 8. That's going to be your usual speeds. Learn the speeds and we'll be good to go. Tip number 5 is going to be make sure you have these roles when going into the battle. Now, you're going to be able to form different teams and you may be left with no options, but you want to ensure you have a few key roles when going into the battlefield, and this tip is going to be tying in with the next tip. Now, the different roles that you want is obviously one, a damage dealer. For instance, in this season, you've got someone like Glitch who is a glass cannon. A lot of offense, a lot of speed, but she's going to go down quite quickly. So you want to ensure with your damage dealers or your glass cannons like Glitch, you want to go ahead and bring in a tank that's going to distract and then take a lot of those damages. So damage dealer, a tank. You want to also bring in someone that can purge helpful effects to get through those pesky taunts just in case you get stuck, because nothing spells a loss more like just sitting there attacking a character like Quasimodo that wants to be attacked. This guy wants to soak up your damage. If you're attacking him and not someone else, he's doing his job just fine. So definitely bring in a tank, a purger, and then it's always great to have someone that can cleanse on hand as well, and also some key harmful effects. Now, I made a guide that talked about all the harmful effects in the game. It's a little bit outdated, but for the most part, most of these characters are in there. Go check it out in the top right-hand corner above to go and look through that for the harmful effects and which ones you can apply to control the team. If you have some form of a damage dealer, a tank, someone that can cleanse, purge, and lay harmful effects, and you can fit that on one team, synergy is great, but that's going to get the job done, guys. So look for those key roles. Make sure you get that done. And if you're bringing your best damage dealer out there, get a tank to protect it. You're going to have to get those taunts out there. Rely on your enemy making mistakes, and you should be able to get a lot of wins. All right, now it's time for tip number 6. That's going to go with tip number 5. And that is going to be make sure that you guys don't blow your abilities early. I can't tell you how many times I'm watching different people or myself, and I use an ability that I just wish I would have hung on to. Yes, some of them are tempting, but if you go to abilities like, let's take Quasimodo again for an example, Cauldron of Flame is going to dispel a bunch of helpful effects. if there's not taunts on the field and your Quasi is going before their tanks, don't use your purging abilities too early, or else there's no point to use it. Maybe you wanted to get a big AoE with like the big bad wolf. This also clears taunts on the field. And if you're using this before a taunts on the field, you're grossly mishandling these abilities. There's a bunch of different instances for these, like even with Tiana. She's got a big cleanse now. We know that. Big harmful immunity, cleansing and healing. Don't do it too early. Make sure you're going to be using abilities at the right time on the battlefield, because unlike other battles, these go a whole lot longer. These aren't going to be quick and done in a hurry because the Hercules on the field. These will be a little bit longer, so you've got more time to carefully strategize when you're exactly using these abilities at the right time. However, it goes both ways, right? You also don't want to be using like a tank like Gizmo, and you get that taunt out there and you're like, yes, try to get through that wall, and then they purge it the next turn. Big waste of a taunt, and really, that's going to just eliminate all of Gizmo's viability for that particular turn. So you want to ensure that you've got taunts on the field when they don't have purges, and then again, hang on to your purging abilities. And today's video's last tip is going to be all about team crafting. Now, first and foremost, guys, give every single character a fighting chance. Again, I broke down all of the characters, but you don't want to be, using the usual scale or tier list that I even make to judge these characters, as sometimes characters that are just not great, like Captain Jack Sparrow, usually within the game can do a whole lot better within this game mode. So go ahead, give all of your characters a chance, build the best teams you can, and if you don't know what you can do with your teams, we have a metric ton of different resources for you at the Cozy Club. So go ahead, maybe stop by the Discord, stop in and say, hey, these are the teams I'm thinking. What do you think? Or stop by my Twitch and I'll do the best I can to help you as well. Learn from my mistakes and learn from others' mistakes. We are all just trying to get a little bit better, both free to play and pay to play. This is a game mode that truly includes everyone. So stop by the Discord, stop by the Twitch. We'll help you build those teams. So again, when team building, know the characters, know the speeds, spread out the damage dealers, spread out the tanks, and you should be good to go. Well, Cozy Club, thank you guys so much for stopping by today's video, and I've got a lot more tips to offer you guys, and I'll continue to make these as long as you guys like these tips and tricks videos. Show that by liking today's video and commenting down below which tip that you want to offer other people, or which tip did you like the most today. Best of luck in Season 2. Let me know how you do either on my Twitch or Discord, and until the next video, which will be the tier list, we're going to say it now, the next video will be the September tier list. Stay cozy.